Okay, guys, we're just going to look over Unit 4.1 slope. So we're going to go through the notes, and then you'll do the homework on your own. But we're talking about slope. We've been talking about slope. You just didn't maybe know it was slope that we were talking about. We've been talking about, man, look at all these cute things I'm drawing it over here. We've been talking about slope. It's really all those things that we've been talking about: unit rate, constant of proportionality, change in y over change in x, right here, vertical change, horizontal change, rise over run. That's kind of new, but we're going to talk about that here throughout these notes. So I want you to look at this first one. Okay, so the example right here says the table shows the length of the patio as blocks are added. Okay, so the change here is 0 to 8. So I'm going to do it with a table first, and that's the way that we learned in the past. So what's the change on top? It's going to be +1 all the way through, okay? What's the change on the bottom? It's going to be +8 all the way through. And that's kind of what we've been talking about, how to find unit rate or the constant of proportionality. So if I were to write this as change in y over change in x, it would be 8 over 1, which is 8. Well, that is really our slope, okay? So it's our several different things. We're going to look over here. They plotted all of these points right here in the graph, sorry guys, graph, okay? And then they plotted every point, 1, 8, 2, 16, over 2, up to 16, 3, 24, and 4, 32, okay? They plotted all those. So we found the slope this way, okay? That's the way we know if we're given a table. If we're given a graph, we can find it a different way. We can say the vertical change over the horizontal change or the rise over the run. So remember when we talked about this one, it's change in y over the change in x. So when we plot a point, we go x first and then y, right? Okay. So but when we're talking about slope, we're going to go change in y over change in x. So it's going to be a little bit opposite. So we're going to say up first. So there's up 4, up 8 over 1. So we're really up 8 over 1. That's our rise. And this is our run. Okay. Up 8 over 1. Up 8 over 1. Up 8 over 1. And it's hitting that consistently. Sorry. So our slope is going to be 8 over 1. Same. We found it here. We found it here now, okay? If I were to write an equation for this line, it doesn't, at 0, it is 0. So our y-intercept is 0. So our equation would be y equals 8x. Okay, so if you go back, we're going to talk a little bit more about this in the next section, but we always have this form. So for every 8 inches, there is 1 patio block. And that just kind of breaks it down in words for us. Look at the next example. It says graph the data, then determine. So let's graph it first, okay? So we have our first, sorry, I don't know what is wrong with me, 112, and then we have 224, 336, and 448. So if I were to graph this, it would just kind of go at a straight line. It would be going through 0, 0, so it is proportional, just on those thoughts that we've been talking about. Okay, so if I do rise over run, which I just kind of told you about, so the change in y over the change in x, it's up 12 and over 1. Same thing's happening every time. Up 12 over 1, up 12 over 1. You really have to pay attention to the numbers. We got that from that. Now let's see the other way. If I do this, find it through the table, okay? It's changing by 1 on the top, and it's changing by 12 on the bottom. Okay, so if it's changing by 12 on the bottom, we do change in y over change in x, so we get 12 over 1. So we're getting the same slope from both ways. So our slope is going to be 12 because really it's 12 over 1. And our slope represents 12 juice bottles for every 1 case. So we're just kind of breaking that down. And if I were going to write an equation for this line, I would say it's y equals 12x because it starts at 0, 0, so there's no b. Okay, the second example. At 6 a.m., the retention pond has 28 inches of water in it. The water receded so that at 10 a.m., there were 16 inches of water left. Okay, so it doesn't give us a table, it only gives us the graph. So let's graph this. At 6 a.m., there was 28 inches. So 6 a.m., we're right here, 28 inches. At 10 a.m., we are 16 inches. So here's our second point. So we can tell that the graph is going this way. Okay, it's going down. So before, I want to show you, we were going up. We were on this one. We were going up on this other one. Up, up. Now this one is going down. So what do you makes you think? What does it make you think that is? That's always been a positive slope going up. So going down is going to be a negative slope. So we're going to start with this as a negative slope. Okay. Now, once we get past that, we can't do our point, so we're just going to have to graph. So we're going to do a rise over run, but we're going to do it down. You either rise up and down. So we're going to go down first to the next point. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so but that is 4, 8, 12 hours. So it's going down 12 hours. So that's going to be a negative 12. But sorry, I slid that over. And you're going 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10. So that is 4 hours. So if I simplify this, negative 12 over 4, I get negative 3. So my slope is negative 3. Okay, and this represents it's going down 3 inches per every hour. Okay, so that works really good. Okay, moving on. Going positive because it's going to the right. We're probably only going to have time for one more, so we're going to do this number 3. The table below shows the number of apples per basket at the farmer's market. Graph the data, then determine the slope of the line. Okay, so let's graph the data. So at 2 baskets, look, make sure you understand this, number of baskets. At 2, he had 10 apples. At 4, he had 20 apples. And at 6, he had 30 apples. 8, he had 40 apples. So you can tell that it's going up, and it's going to start here at 0, 0, and it's going to go up proportionally, okay? So we can see that it's a proportional line. Now, on that other one, that last one, it was going down, so it's going to be not proportional because it's not going to go through 0, 0. Now, if I did rise over run, let's do the rise over run. So up 10 and over 2. So up 10 over 2. So 10 over 2, which reduces to 5. So that's what I got, rise over run. Okay, let me do my chart. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. Okay, plus 10 plus 10 plus 10. Okay, so I'm still getting 10 over 2, which reduces to 5. So my slope is 5. So how can I break that down in words? Okay, remember it's apples per basket. So I have 5 apples per 1 basket. Okay, so go ahead and finish this example down here on your own, and then start the homework that we have left for you. Thank you.